Hey everyone, Jim Jacobs back here in Northwest Ohio again for Pipeline Foods, making kind of a wrap-up video here on sunflower production. And there are lots and lots of farms out west of Ohio, Kansas, North Dakota, down into Texas that raise a lot of sunflowers. But this is our first go-around with it, and so far it has been a very successful crop in the organic setting. A buyer approached us about doing acres, raising them in Northwest Ohio here because of our climate. Relatively dry summers and less humid compared to where the buyer's at. And so it's been good. We got about 70 acres that I'm standing in right now, and then another 22 acres that's a little further along in the growing process. It was planted about 3 or 4 weeks earlier, and it's getting pretty close to harvest. It's October 5th. It's a beautiful sunny day, but the sunflowers here that I'm standing in are going to need some more time to mature from what I've been told. Perhaps 3 weeks before they can handle a frost. And so we're not positive that these are going to make much of a crop yet, but overall been pretty successful. And going to flip the camera around here in a second to show you a few of the perks of the sunflowers. Alright, so I've taken over behind the camera now, and it's a pretty awesome looking field. Everyone likes to grow corn and soybeans, but I hate to say it, this is a whole lot cooler looking crop, and especially when we get into some of the other perks of the sunflowers. So you can see on the sunflower head that there are lots and lots of little flowers. Each flower will lead to a seed that we can end up harvesting. These are oil sunflowers that'll go on for certified organic cooking oil. But the seeds are still maturing here, going through pollination. We've got, I'm counting 6 bees on the 3 flowers that I'm looking at, so that's pretty awesome. I have a good friend that has brought over an entire trailer worth of beehives to capitalize on this opportunity. But getting to the plant itself, you can see how big some of these green leaves are, and it really helps create a dense canopy. Disregard the grass there, but this field came out of wheat harvest in July and was tilled quickly a couple times, had poultry manure put on, and then about 6 weeks later, here we are. It's put on this much green canopy, pretty dense canopy all the way down to the ground, a lot of shade, and so really been combating some weeds in a different kind of cycle here. We could plant a cover crop, but after the wheat, but heck, if you can get a cash crop out of it that looks this good, man, that seems like a no-brainer to me. Paired with the fact that most of you know, sunflowers have a very fibrous upper root system paired with a deep tapping root. In my area, we've been so wet this year that the taproot has only gone about 8 inches deep. But if it was dry, it could go up to 2 feet deep to scavenge for nutrients. So the plant itself seems like a huge perk and really pretty. I can't get over how cool this is. Later on, we're going to include some actual drone video and images of the entire fields. So I mentioned that it took about 6 weeks to get a big, tall, dense foliage growing after we planted them. In that time, we rotary hoed the fields once and cultivated once. And when I went through, I just used an old IH cultivator with the big heavy Viber shanks and some pretty decent sized sweeps. Really just trying to go through and be very aggressive because these sunflowers have a very thick stalk from pretty early on. So they can handle some dirt throwing and really did a nice job of attacking weeds. This field had a lot of volunteer wheat. Went through, cleaned a lot of it up. I guess I really don't care too much about the volunteer wheat though, because that's going to die next summer anyhow, even if it goes all the way through the winter. So the other cool thing I mentioned, it's our first year growing sunflowers. One of the reasons I had so much interest in it, other than how pretty it is is because, according to our buyer, you can use a corn head or a bean head without much upgrade. It's going to go through a regular combine, so we didn't really have much invested in the harvesting process. And for planting them, we have a John Deere vac planter that we just got different plates for, and it seemed to do a great job. So overall, the theory here was to treat this sunflower crop like a cover crop up until the day we harvested it. So what I mean by that is everything here is focused on next year. We're not trying to necessarily bank on this crop. It's just if this makes it a cherry on top of a wet year, and if it doesn't, hey, we can live with that. It was pretty cool. We got some great photos, got some great benefit from the root structure, and some biodiversity in here to keep it changed up a little bit. So one thing, if we slide over here, we're going to take a little bit of a look at sunflower maturity. So looking all pretty here, just a sunflower head, but the buyer explained that if you can gently rub across the flowers on the head and have them fall off, you'll start to expose the black seeds behind it. That means that the seed is pretty well matured, so to say. It's developed. It can handle a frost at this point, and will just keep drying down from here rather than turning to mush. So, got a ways to go in the rest of the field. This is one of the further ones along, but we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks. And what I'm definitely going to include is a video about how we harvest them. We have a old International Harvester corn head, got the old bean head. Don't really know much about what we're going to do other than give it a try and figure it out. So if anyone has some experience with sunflowers on some small acres, shoot me some recommendations. That would be very cool on harvesting them. But until we get that harvesting video, take care. I'll see you soon. Thank you, and enjoy the drone images.